Welcome into Phil's Tax Hacks and Other Retirement Facts with CPA and personal financial specialist, Phil Putney. Now let's get rolling with today's show.
You know, Phil, this week we're going to have a conversation about shiny object syndrome. There's no shortage of shiny objects. That's tough to say. Shiny objects.
Shiny objects, yeah.
That mess with people in the world. Apparently it messes with me too. But financially speaking, there's a lot of these as well, right? There's always something that kind of like, ooh, kind of a squirrel moment, right?
Yep. I mean, to that point, any industry, right? You're trying to attract clients, customers. So you're always trying to put out that shiny object, right? It's just part of it's like fishing, right? It's that lure out there to try to, to capture the attention.
Yeah, so exactly. Great way of putting it. Yeah.
That's where it's at, but you just have to be careful and understand, hey, this is what's going on. So, read behind the scenes, so to speak, of, okay, well, I understand what you're trying to do, but is it real? There's
great
some
point.
Legitimate pieces to it. So
don't get lured in by something that may or may not actually benefit you. So with that said, we've got a few here on a list we're going to talk about this week. And we're going to kind of combine the first two, I think here, where it's the, I guess every industry has it, right? So it's the designations, and the awards and a lot of those things, like how much weight do these things actually carry? So when a person's shopping for a new advisor or looking for an advisor, how much weight does that carry?
Right. Yeah, I mean, so designations, let's start with that one. I mean, that's one of those things you've got to have some knowledge behind what the designations are, right? I mean, there's certain designations that everyone knows, the CFP, the CPA, those are known designations. Those are real. There's some real legitimate education and training and testing and that goes behind those. PFS for me, the personal financial specialist. And there's a lot of them out there like that.
There are, yeah.
But there's also a lot of them out there that look like a legitimate designation that, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a designation, but face it, the advisor, if you dig into it, they had to read something and take a test and it was an open book test. Right. Gotcha. So, I mean, it was nothing more than how do I get this designation? And I mean, it's become so bad in our industry now that the regulating bodies, so FINRA, the SEC, they're starting to say, hey, these are the recognized designations.
Gotcha. Okay.
So if somebody is from a regulated industry like that, and the insurance industry still is not regulated, they don't care what designations you have. So if you're looking at an insurance only licensed advisor, there's not a third party telling them, hey, you can or can't have this type of designation behind your name, because they know the lure, so to speak, that, if a person looking for an advisor looks at, this advisor and, they've got 6 designations behind their name. They've got all this education. Well, at the end of it, if you look at those 6 designations, and that means they spent an afternoon taking a bunch of tests that were open book, it really has no meat behind it. They don't know any different than the other advisor. It's just a meaningless string of symbols behind their name. So.
Okay. And so you could go to like FINRA.org or Broker Check if you do want to check out some people to kind of see.
So that'd be a good place to start to, in the designation world, understand, well, these are designations that at least those regulatory bodies are giving some weight to.
Makes sense.
Because there's something behind it. And usually what they're looking for is that it's not just a simple test. It's true education and testing and continuing education. So with all of those, the CFP, the CPA, the PFS, and all the other ones, there's, a series of classes and testing you have to go through and a final test to get the actual designation.
Yeah.
Then there's requirements in keeping up with that continuing education each year. So there's some meat behind it. It means something.
Okay. So they carry a little bit of weight, some of that carries some weight, again, depending on the type. So do a little bit of checking for yourself, do a little bit of vetting. What about the awards?
Awards are similar. I mean, again, so getting awards, it depends on what type of awards there are. A lot of, broker dealers or maybe insurance companies that you work through, have the top advisor awards. And I mean, it just means that they've sold the most.
I was going to say, to me, they feel like, hey, look at me, I can sell stuff, right?
It doesn't necessarily mean that they've done what's in the best interest of the client. Now, I'm not saying they did or didn't. I don't know. That just means they sold a lot.
Right.
They were the top advisor for that firm. That's great. What does that mean for you as a client is what you have to ask. In that scenario too, though, there's a lot of other awards out there, and I won't name them, that, and I got caught up to this early in my career of, I've been named, such and such an advisor, and this is great. And, it sounds like a legitimate thing. And once you get into it, it's like, well, wait a minute. No, this is just paid advertising is what it comes down to, is, similar to the designation. It's not a real award that has some meaning behind it. So
yeah, and every industry has it. We're not beating up on this one, but
no, it's not just financial services.
It's the one you're in, so that's the one we're talking about, right? So again, I think if you're talking about the shiny objects that kind of get people going a little bit, there's certainly some of the designations that are worthwhile to investigate to see if the person you're thinking about working with has the right one for you, because some of them are more complicated than others. So certainly they've taken the time to learn those things. All right, moving on from there. What about like the limited time offer thing? I can't believe this stuff still exists, but it does.
But wait, there's more.
You kind of expect it on late night. Yeah, you kind of expect it on commercials for the sham wow. But in the financial realm, is it really a thing? Like, well, this investment's only available this week. That should be a flag.
Yeah, I mean, it should be a flag. Now, some of it, sometimes it's legitimate, right? I mean, some investments might have a limited availability.
Okay.
And if that's the case, it's the reality, right?
Okay.
No, I mean, that shouldn't be there for everything, though. I mean, if what you're hearing all the time is, oh, wait, it's going out of stock, we only have this many left, or whatever it is, act now, by Friday. Just, again, understand most of the time that's just a pressure technique to try to get you to make a quick decision.
Yeah.
And generally, in the financial world, quick decisions aren't always going to be the best.
Yeah. And my dad always taught me, he's like, look, if somebody's offering you a good deal or a great deal, and it's a great deal today,
it'll be there tomorrow. Yeah.
It'll still be a great deal next week. Right. He's like, have a little time to think about it, especially a major decision like a financial.
Right. Exactly. A major decision like this. So now, and that being said, there are some realities to it, where there are some, like I said, investments maybe that have a limited availability or something, but I mean, that shouldn't be a major part of your portfolio.
Right. True.
That
Great
should
point.
be your whole financial decisions based on that.
Yeah. So. Get in with this oil program before this Friday kind of thing.
Yeah. We've only got 3 spots left, and you want to make sure you get in before.
Yeah. So be careful there.
Yep.
Guaranteed. And that kind of maybe goes along with this, the guaranteed high returns, right? Mm-hmm. You still see this quite often. Hey, our portfolio beat the S&P, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Of course, they always have the little disclaimer at the bottom, past performance does, and maybe they did, but it says past performance isn't indicative of future results in case they don't the next time, right? So be careful of that high return guarantee.
Right. Yeah. So with this, you have to look at the word guarantee, right? So most of those type of scenarios aren't guaranteeing, although it's almost feels like it because it's like, oh, we've outperformed the S&P over the last, whatever. Which again, that if that's true history, there's nothing wrong with that. Just understand that isn't always going to be the case. So if somebody's trying to say it's a guarantee and it's a market-based financial product, actually that is a red flag beyond red flags. We're not allowed to do that, because there is no guarantee. We don't control the markets. We don't know what it's going to do. We can tell you historically what it has done, but to your point, past performance is not indicative of future results. We don't know.
Right.
The only time a guarantee, quote unquote, comes into play is any kind of an insurance product, because that is a contract. That is contractually could be a guarantee depending on what it is that you're looking at in that contract. But generally, a guarantee and high returns don't go together. I mean, it just, if you step back and think of it from just a general scenario, I mean, you wouldn't, if I could give you a guaranteed 10% return, you shouldn't be able to get an appointment with me because I would have clients lined up out the door, right? And I probably wouldn't be in this industry because if I could give you a guaranteed 10% return every year, I mean, that's crazy. So just put some logic and some thought behind it to say, okay, wait a minute, this just doesn't pass the smell test.
Yeah, yeah. You'd have a line. Well, you wouldn't even be in business because you'd just be doing it for yourself, right?
Right. I mean, it's yeah.
You'd be
So
killing it. Yeah.
yeah, guarantee high returns. Those don't go together.
Yeah.
Guarantee. There's nothing wrong with guarantee, but generally, just understand where that comes in. And typically, if you're getting a guarantee, you're going to give up returns. Right.
Okay.
I mean, you can't have a guarantee and high returns. There's just nothing out there that's going to give you that.
The Tax Smart Retiree is your comprehensive guide to mastering tax efficiency for a flourishing retirement. You will find indispensable advice and actionable strategies designed to enhance tax savings, maximize Social Security benefits, protect against market volatility, and develop a customized retirement plan. To get your free ebook, click the link in the show notes of today's episode and download your copy of the Tax Smart Retiree right now.
All right. What about trendy asset classes? Certainly, we've seen that the last couple of years, whether it's crypto, which is the big dog, or meme stocks or NFTs or whatever.
Yeah. And this one, you've just got to be careful not to get caught up in the hype, right? I mean, crypto, it is a trendy asset class, but I mean, it's starting to become mainstream. And sometimes that's how some of these start, right? I mean, tech stock back in the day, that was more of a trendy asset class. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that's mainstream today. It's a big part of what's driving the S&P. So understand what it is. The reality with these trendy asset classes is, understand what they are and then probably limit what your exposure is to them, unless you're just the gambler out there. Because usually if you're picking up on it when it's a trendy asset class, there's more and more risk involved in it. Yeah, potentially more return, but there's generally a lot of risk that's going to be involved at that point. So.
Okay. So final one, the set it and forget it pitch, kind of opposite of the guaranteed or the high pressure. This is more we put you in something and you're good to go.
Never have to worry about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, target date funds almost smack of this, so to speak. I mean, it's one of those, set it and forget it. It'll change the risk exposure as you age, which that's true. It does that. Mm-hmm. But there's nothing out there that should truly be set it and forget it because your life isn't set it and forget it, right? It's dynamic. It changes. Retirement changes. Just the environment changes. Tax laws change every year. Potentially, it seems like it at least lately, but I mean, it's, things do change on a regular basis. So there shouldn't ever be anything that is, you don't have to worry about it. You're never going to lose money. Just do this. And it's the one size fits all answer to your retirement scenario. Yeah. And again, it's one of those smell test things, right? If that were truly the case and it worked, then everyone would be doing it. Right. So if there's only one advisor that's telling you this, it obviously hasn't worked that well because if it had worked in our industry, it spreads like wildfire. Everyone else is going to pick up on that, hey, this is really working. So why don't we try that? Right.
Well, and the set it forget it would be something you could just do on your own. To your point, you just jump into a target date fund and you never have to change anything.
Let it happen. Right.
Yeah. So,
I mean, we don't live in a set it and forget it world. It's a very dynamic environment we live in. Your life is dynamic, right? Things change on a regular basis. So
that's a great point.
So you have to have a plan to understand first, what are you trying to accomplish? What do you need? Then look at, whatever the investment options are is really the key with all of this is, don't get caught up in all those shiny objects. Have the plan, understand what it is you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
And then, some of these shiny objects may fit, but it shouldn't be the reason you got there. It should be, hey, my plan says that I need this. Oh, that fits. Okay. And it's shiny. Okay. That's good.
Right. And it's shiny.
I didn't buy it because it was shiny. I bought it because it was part of the plan and it needed to be there and it fit what I was trying to accomplish. Then that's great.
That's a great way to wrap it up right there. If it's shiny and it fits, well, then that's fine. But don't buy it just because it's shiny. So every industry's got them. Just make sure you're on the lookout when it comes to financially as well. And of course, if you need some help identifying the shiny objects, or you want to talk with someone who has proper designations, may see if they are the right fit for you. And again, most of the industry is on the up and up, right? But there's always the weird stuff out there. Yep. So vet the person out a little bit. Go to FINRA.org or Broker Check, as I mentioned earlier, and check those things out. And of course, that's why they offer the consultations too, to see if it's the right fit for you as well. So get on the calendar, have a chat, reach out to Phil today. We'll have all the links in the show descriptions below. And don't forget to subscribe to us on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. And we will see you next time here on Phil's Tax Hacks and Other Retirement Facts.
Phil?
Investment advisory services offered through AFS Wealth Management. The content of this program is provided for informational purposes only and is not a solicitation or recommendation of any investment strategy. Investments and/or investment strategies involve risk, including the possible loss of principal. There is no assurance that any investment strategy will achieve its objectives.